What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Now, before we get into today's Entitled Parent stories, you may have noticed we're getting very close now to 500,000 subscribers. As you can see, we're only 30,000 away at the time of recording. Now, my aim is to hit that number by the 12th of June, which is my 22nd birthday. So if you're not subscribed already, hit that button and help us get there as quickly as possible. With that being said, let's jump into today's first Entitled Parent story. Entitled Mum calls me and threatens to get me fired if I don't fix her kids' grades. I swear, this quarantine brings out the worst in people. For some background, I teach labs at a university level. I have a master's degree and all the labs I teach are for engineers. We finished this course on Thursday and I gave out the grades, submitted the course file, and that was that. I was pretty comfortable with the grades I gave given the situation. I didn't do an exam but a project, and I had to drop the lowest and graded while closing both eyes. Today at 2:13 AM, my phone rings. Now, I've never received a call that late, and in my haze waking up, I thought someone had died or something. So I picked up in a rush and the following conversation happened. "What's going on? Is everything okay?" It was an entitled mum. "Hi, is this Dr. Barron?" "No, sorry, I believe you have the wrong number. I think you mean to call my brother." Note, my brother is a medical doctor. I am a master's student, not a PhD student. I do not hold the doctor title. "No, this is the right number. You taught my kid this semester and gave him a B-." "Ah, sorry, I got confused with being called a doctor. Yes, I taught your kid and he earned a B-." "Excuse me, but how did you get my number?" "That doesn't matter. I want you to fix the grade to an A. My kid worked hard and you didn't grade him fairly. So I thought I'd be nice and give you an opportunity to fix it before I escalate. I will not discuss grades with you. Also, who calls at 2 AM? Besides, please contact the department chair for inquiries. Kindly don't contact me again. Listen to me. If you don't fix the grade, I'll report you to the school for harassing my kid." What? "Ah, so now I got your attention, eh? Yeah, you heard me. I'll report you for harassing and touching my kid. You do realize we were in lockdown this entire time and I've never been physically in the same place as your kid throughout this time, right?" "Oh, well, I know that. I'm not stupid." "So you're going to make a fake report about me?" "Yep, so fix the grade or I'll have you thrown out of the school." I'm just speechless at this point. "Did you hear me? You do know I record my calls, right?" "F you, I'm reporting you for harassing me and my kid." She hung up after. I forwarded the recorded call to my master's advisor, school dean, and department chair. I explained everything in the email and went to sleep. Now, I haven't heard anything official yet, but my master's advisor texted me that he heard the call and thinks she's insane. They haven't received the report or anything yet. After checking on the kid's work, he deserved a D. If she escalates this, I'll present his work and agree to correct his grade to a D. I will update if I hear anything. Oh wow, so by the sounds of it, it sounds like this professor was actually being quite nice given the circumstances and obviously the massive pandemic going on right now, and actually giving kids quite a higher grade, well, higher than they deserve perhaps. I guess this just shows that if you're a parent, please don't get involved with your grades. Don't try and, manipulate them. It's not going to work, and if anything, the teacher's just going to make them even worse out of pure spite. Now, thankfully for us all, OP today actually did provide an update on this whole situation, so let's jump straight into that. Update: entitled mum calls me and threatens to get me fired if I don't fix her kids' grades. Saturday was uneventful. However, Sunday I got an email from the Title IX officer at my university asking to schedule a meeting early Monday morning. I agreed to it. I contacted a bunch of people to see what it might be about, but everyone was more or less tight-lipped about it, until this morning when I had the meeting. The officer said to me, "Hey Mr. Barron, how are you today?" "Well, my well-being depends on this conversation, which, fair warning, is being recorded." "I understand. I assure you I am just here to inform you of what our investigation resulted in, and I'm not here to accuse you of anything. The investigation began after we received the recording from the Dean of Engineering. It was to see if you were harassed and how to deal with it. It is a slippery slope to allow a parent to threaten and blackmail a faculty member." Oh, tell me then. I contacted the family on Saturday and here is what happened. So, on Saturday, the officer called the entitled mum. "Hello, is this entitled mum mother of chilled son?" "No, this is his nice dad. What can I help you with?" "I am from your son's university and we have an incident of harassment by your wife." He told him what happened. "Ex-wife, actually. I cannot believe she did this behind our backs." "So, neither you nor your son were aware of her correspondence with the instructor?" Nope. Let me bring in my son and hear what he has to say. I will put you on speakerphone. The nice dad calls his chilled son and gives him a quick summary of what happened. His chilled son said, I told my mum that I got a B- and that I will be transferring to industrial engineering based on the Baron's recommendation. She flipped out and said no son of mine will drop his major and that she will fix it. I told her I won't be a part of this and won't help her. I did not know she called him. I understand, but how would she have gotten this number? I would not know. The nice dad says, here, let me call her. Hey EM, why did you contact the Baron for your son's grade? That was uncalled for. Cause you and your son are spineless idiots who do not stand up for yourselves. Someone had to fix it, and as always it had to be me. What are you on? He gave me a higher grade than I deserve and helped me out a lot. Shut up you, I know what's best for you, not some idiot at university, not your father, and most certainly not you. You will listen to me. No son of mine will be a failure and switch majors. The entitled mum then hangs up. The nice dad says, I am terribly sorry, I will call her again. There's no need. Could you kindly provide me with her number? I will contact her. Later that Saturday. Hello, who is this? Hi, I am the Title IX officer at your son's university. Oh, thank God, your faculty member is harassing me and my kid. Oh, how so? He called me at 2 a.m. yesterday offering to fix my kid's grades for certain favors. Really? That is not what the recording from that night says. Well, recordings could be faked. We also recorded your conversation with your ex-husband and son. The entitled mum now was silent. So let's skip all of this, and I would like to inform you that if you contact or approach the Baron or any faculty member again, we will be taking legal action against you. She then cited a lot of legal mumbo jumbo, but I won't get into it. Anyways, how did you get the Baron's number? I called our local Yellow Pages and asked for his dad's number. My dad has a pretty successful UPS manufacturing company in our country. I asked him for his son number and he gave it to me. I presume you will be deleting this number, else more legal stuff. Yes. Also, I will be contacting your son regarding your behavior and tone to advise he gets a restraining order against you. Something of equivalence in my country. You cannot tell me what or how I talk to my son, you dumb idiot. The officer then hangs up. Now moving on to the current day. The officer says to me, and that's that. Oh, well, I will be contacting my dad. Please do. Also, would you like to take any actions against the mum or her son? Her son is fine by me. Poor kid did not know, and based on recent conversations, this seems to be common in a lot of families. He should not suffer because of his mum. But if the mum contacts me or any other faculty member, then yes, I would like to take legal actions. Okay, contact me if anything else happens. Have a good day. Thanks again. I hang up. And that's the update. I had a long conversation with my dad about giving out my cell phone number to people. My dad is somewhat of an old guard type. Helping people out and making exceptions is the norm for him. Hopefully this won't happen again. Wow, what a topsy-turvy story. There is certainly a lot to digest in this one. There are so many characters involved, so many things that I do agree with, and so many things that I tend to disagree with, to be honest. Let's start with your dad. I'm not really sure why your dad would be giving out your number to a random stranger. I guess, yeah, it makes sense he is trying to help them out, but still, it's a pretty weird thing to do given he has a successful UPS company or equivalent in your country. Surely someone in that sort of position knows better than just to hand out his son's number to random people he doesn't actually know? Maybe I'm being a little bit harsh there, he was being helpful, I guess. Secondly, moving on to the officer. Now, I do understand, but I don't really agree with the point that he makes when he says to the cool son, yeah, you need to get a restraining order. That's really not your business at all. If the son wants to do that or leave his mother or that sort of thing, that's his decision. That's got nothing to do with the officer, in my opinion. Finally, let's move on to the most important person in this story, the entitled mum. Yeah, I guess these two stories, the first one and the update, just shows how crazy she really is. You know, I don't really blame her for you know, trying to improve her son's grade. I just don't think she went about it in a very constructive way. Firstly, surely she should have contacted her son and asked him, is this grade fair in your opinion? Then she would have heard that actually this grade is unfair because he's actually giving me a better grade than what I think I deserve. I'm all for, you know, parents complaining if the grade is actually unfair or their kids genuinely think it is unfair. but this is just not the right way to go about it, please. Overall, a really interesting story. I think there will be a lot of difference in opinions from you guys, so let me know what you think about this whole story down below in the comments. Now moving on to our final story of today's video. My mum wanted to force me to let her into my psychiatrist appointments because she was worried what I'd say about her. Oh god. For some background, I'm a 21-year-old on a high amount of meds for epilepsy, and I dropped out of college to deal with my medical issues since I used to have a seizure once a week. Oh, that's horrible. I'm currently going to a community college to transfer to a better university in a different major, so I will graduate 2 years later than all my classmates. So, I was talking to my psychiatrist on video chat since I couldn't go to the hospital. Since this is a first appointment, he is asking some basic questions like, do you hear voices or have you had thoughts of self-harm type things? I answer honestly. I mentioned my mother and family issues, like how my mother and father have been fighting since I was born and blame me for their deteriorating relationship. Oh, and my mum tends to insult me a lot, calling me a failure and a blank because I'm going to a community college right now. I also have anger issues because she screams and calls me swear words and phrases over 40 times in a minute. I counted, I wasn't lying. And for more than a minute, while I helped her for 2 hours. Then she slapped me twice hard for stepping on something, I forgot what. So enraged, I pinched her forehead, tried to lightly slap her cheek and stormed off. I then start panicking. Wait, please don't tell the police or anyone what I've done. The psychiatrist says, it seems like we need to talk again. Don't worry though, we want to help you. We won't tell anyone what you or your mother has done. I mentioned it to my mum, one thing over a 2-hour session, and it was a huge mistake. My mum didn't care about my suicide attempts, my depression, or how I felt. How could you tell them something like that, you narcissist? What's wrong with you? But I told you what I said exactly. You're a liar. Nothing you say is true. You're the last person I would trust. Mum, I'm sorry, but I don't lie. I said what I did and what you did no matter what. And they said, don't you dare call me mum, you dumb idiot. You're lucky to be living with me at 22. I'm 21. All your classmates and friends are graduating 2 years before you. Wow, if you don't even know your son's age, that's kind of weird. I'm sorry. Look, I won't mention you again. My mum then rants and raves continuously. You never stop talking or starting arguments. You could have gotten me arrested. Well, I'll get you arrested, you POS. I wish I had an abortion. I'm just silent at this point. Now make sure I'm in your next appointment or I won't let you see your psychiatrist. But shut up and only talk to them about your anger issues, you useless, idiotic failure. God, how can you still be talking about your family at 22? I mean, it's not like your brother is 30 and doesn't complain or argue with me. I feel silent even though I know that's not true. If my mum insults him when he visits, he will leave the house and go to his apartment immediately. Then, depending on how she acted, come back later. Also, my mum is comparing me to my brother who is about 9 years older than me with no medical issues. But he lived at home until he was 26 and got his first job. My mum then insults me for another hour, then is finally quiet. Oh wow, yeah dude, to be honest, my advice on this one is pretty simple. You're 21 now, that means that legally your mum has no parental authority over you. You can kind of do what you want at this point. I mean, maybe you don't have the money to move out, but surely somehow you can try and get a little bit of money or go and move in with a friend or something. I think for your sake, you really need to get out of that toxic household as quickly as you can. So, like your brother, if you want to go and see your mum, you have a place you can go to. You can dip out after that if things get a bit too hectic, like it sounds like they do a lot of the time, to be honest. If I'm being 100% serious, it sounds like potentially your mother has her own issues inside her head. It sounds like maybe she's the one that needs to see a psychiatrist as much as you do. Yeah, I would not want to be in contact with her if I were you. I'm sorry, I know she's your mum, but come on, it's quite clear that you need to do something about it. Overall, OP, look, don't worry about it. Clearly, you're not in the wrong here at all. You're living with a toxic parent. There's not a lot you can do, but just, you know, suck it up and get on with your life. I hope things get better for you and you can move out as quickly as possible. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this video on my channel. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, show your support by dropping a like, and also remember to subscribe to my channel. We've now got, how many days? Maybe 18 until my birthday, and in 18 days, I want to try and get 30,000 subscribers, get up to 500,000. If we can get there or even closer there, that would be so cool. So yeah, if you aren't subscribed, hit the button and turn notifications on so you never miss a daily upload on my channel.